This is the plaintiff, Tavares Brown. He says the defendant is the father of his girlfriend's 3-year-old child, and the maniac got him arrested by lying to the cops. The defendant told him he pulled a gun on him. He was arrested, put through the system, and ultimately found not guilty. This whole ordeal has cost him a lot of money, and he's suing the defendant for the $5,000 he's out due to the defendant's lies. This is the defendant, David Thompson. He says the plaintiff most definitely pulled a gun on him, pointed it at him, and asked him if he wanted to fight or get shot. He promptly went to the cops. The plaintiff was arrested, and now he's being sued here for $5,000 by the temperamental guy? Please. He's accused of making up a big lie. The defendant is filed a countersuit for $5,000 for pain and suffering.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn.
Thank you, Douglas.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Tavares Brown, you are suing David Thompson for $5,000 in damages that you say you incurred when he falsely accused you of pulling a gun out on him. Tell me what happened. You are counterclaiming him $5,000 for pain and suffering. What happened?
It was Memorial Day of 2015. Me and my girlfriend was getting ready for our day because we were going to go to her mother's house to a barbecue or whatever. And the defendant, I guess her and him established that they were going to exchange the child for Memorial Day for the holiday.
You have a child with him?
I do.
Okay, how old's the child?
He's 3.
Okay, so does he regularly visit the child?
Yeah. He,
all right.
Well, at the time, we weren't really seeing eye to eye. So this was the first time I allowed him to come over my place to pick the child up.
All right. So what happened?
Well,
you agree with him for him to come pick up the child?
Yes.
And he has a conversation with you, and he tells you what about him?
Well, over the phone, he just pretty much told me to make sure that he was not present when
he being Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown,
your
present,
boyfriend.
Yes. When he got there, or else.
Or else what?
There would be some words exchanged, or they were going to fight, or.
Why?
Personally, what I feel is it boiled down to me.
Was he trying to get back with you?
At the time, that's what I felt. Yeah, it boiled down to me, and.
Well, it sounds like a good idea for you not to be out there. So, did you follow that advice, or did you go out there?
I was out there, but it wasn't for that reason.
What were you out there for?
I was outside getting the car seat, and he pulled up as I was getting the car seat out of the car.
You took the car? No, it's not your turn.
I took the car seat.
You took the car seat out and did what with it?
And sat it and placed it next to his vehicle. And as we went outside, I was outside talking to her cousin, and we were having a conversation. And as her and him was exchanging the son, I saw him like creeping up on her, saying little small stuff to her.
Okay, so what'd you do?
I didn't do anything. I ignored the fact that he was even exchanging words with my girlfriend.
So what happens that goes wrong? Something goes wrong, right? Because we're here.
We started exchanging words.
Oh, what were the words?
He was telling me, he was asking me what was I looking at, and I don't need to look at him, and I don't even need to be outside and all the stuff like that. And I'm telling him, like, how you gonna come to my house and tell me that I don't have to be outside of my residence where I pay bills at? You can't come to my residence and tell me I can't be outside. So, and my girlfriend was telling him that he could be outside. He don't have to go in the house.
Wouldn't it have been a better idea to just drive to the nearest McDonald's and transfer the child there?
It would have.
Okay, go on.
So,
when we have advance notice that the whole thing is gonna, but it's kind of delicious to have two guys fighting for you, right?
No.
Okay, so go ahead.
So I continue to ignore the fact that he was still trying to come at me.
How were you ignoring it? You said you guys were having words.
My girlfriend was telling me to stop talking to him and don't say anything. Just leave it alone because he already said that it was going to be a problem. So I told her that, okay, he got his son. Let's just go ahead and go on about our day. Let's go. Let's get in the car. So as we walked over to our car, he was still saying things, small things to my girlfriend.
Did you guys fight?
No.
Okay, when does he leave?
After we pulled off.
After you what?
After we pulled off from our house.
How long later was that?
When we pulled off, he pulled off immediately behind us, speeding, tailgating us, swerving through the lanes.
Did you call the police?
He called the police.
Okay, but why weren't you calling the police if he's swerving with your kid in the car?
The reason I didn't call.
Because they had a gun.
I'm not talking to you.
The reason I didn't call is I was given the benefit of the doubt.
The guy's following you and swerving with your kid in the car. How much benefit are you going to give the guy before he kills your kid? I mean, I don't understand. If the story's the way you say, I don't understand. So what happens? He calls the police, and what happens?
I guess he called the police and told them that I pulled a gun out on him.
Ah, all right. And then what happens? You got arrested.
Yes, I did. I ended up getting
Did you pull a gun out on him?
No.
All right. So you end up posting money for bond, $1,500.
Yes, ma'am.
And you ended up losing that. Why?
Because the victim claimed that I called his phone.
Did he have any proof of it?
The proof that he brought into court was the call log from my girlfriend's phone number.
Right.
Outgoing to his phone number.
Did you call him?
I did. He actually did call him. That's why his bond was revoked.
He did call him?
He did call.
So he's lying?
Well, he called, and it was partially my fault as well, because I was exchanging texts. We were texting back and forth.
Okay.
And with me knowing the situation, I probably shouldn't have. I mean, it wasn't anything major.
Okay, so you're exchanging texts saying what to each other?
To be honest, it wasn't anything.
Does anybody have the text?
No.
Do you have the text in your phone, sir?
What?
Yeah, for her text with you.
No, I have a new phone since then.
Everybody has a new phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. My litigants change phones like I change underwear. I've never seen anything like it. Every time I ask for proof of something, it's always
New phone.
phones. Okay. So he called him and said, what, stop texting you?
Yeah, pretty much just stop
But there was a stay away order, right, issued at the bond?
There was.
So why would you do that?
Anger.
Yeah. All right. So your bond got forfeited, but you want him to pay it because you forfeited your bond. Got it. That's the $1,500 you're suing for. Then the car and the items forfeited in storage are for what? Because you started to get into financial difficulty as a result of the bond getting revoked and paying for a lawyer and everything else, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I mean, I can understand your if your premise is I never pulled a gun out and he made it up, that's fine. And as a matter of fact, you went to trial.
Yes.
Yes.
How'd the trial go?
I got found not guilty.
You got found not guilty. All right. So now you are suing for any of the things that you came into financial difficulty for. And I understand money you expended as a result of the trial. I get that. But stuff because you're living paycheck to paycheck, that kind of stuff is just your problem. It's not the other side's problem. Pain and suffering, I get. Cost to expunge record. Do you have any priors?
Yes.
How many?
About 3 or 4.
And what are they for? Any of them gun related?
No, ma'am.
Do you own a gun?
No.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, what's going on? What happened that day?
I was supposed to go pick my son up. He was like standing around looking crazy and stuff. So I'm like, well, what's the problem? And that's how it escalated from that point. And that's when we got into the altercation. You know.
Well, why couldn't you just get your child and go?
Because he was out there.
So what? Why does everybody have to play Canis Macha? Both of you. I asked him those questions. I asked him, what the heck are you doing out there? I'm asking you the same.
It's not about being in charge.
It is. That's how you all find yourself here. So you get there, and what happens?
I told him, I basically told him, you know, I whoop his ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, outside of everything else, I'll whoop your ass.
Over what? The fact that he's standing in front of his house. What were you saying? I'm going to whoop your ass? Why?
It basically got to the point where I asked him if, you know, if it was a problem, if he wanted to do anything about it, and they were getting ready to leave. And as he was approaching his car, he opened his car door, he reached inside of his car, and he got out a handgun. And I'm not lying about that. I even agreed to take a polygraph test.
Okay, so he pulls out a gun, and this is at the house?
This is where I went to pick my son up.
At the house,
yeah.
Okay. And then he does what with the gun?
He points at him, he says, now what do you want to do?
I'm sorry, did anybody else see the gun being pulled out besides you?
Just me and him. She couldn't even see the gun.
How could she not see it?
Because his back was turned to her, and he pulled it out.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So how do two parents who really dislike each other, how do they handle passing a child back and forth with custody?
You really need a third party to get involved, either a family member or the police station or something, just so the kids, you know, less conflict on the kids, the better.
But is it possible that parents who hate each other can put their differences aside?
Yes.
And for the kid?
Yes, I feel like they should for the kid, just for the kid's sake, because, I mean, they should care enough about their child.
Do you think it happens a lot that parents are so disruptive because they hate each other that the kid gets damaged?
Yes, I do feel that happens often. I think that family counseling would help, and I think it should be mandated by the court.
Even if they've broken up?
Yes, even if they've broken up.
Interesting. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
So they tried the case.
Yeah, they tried the case.
And did anyone else besides the three of you testify?
No, it was just us. It was like 2 against 1.
And then what happened? He gets acquitted.
He gets acquitted.
And you get sued.
And I get sued. But my thing is, that vehicle that he's claiming I have something to do with, she legally sold that vehicle. I have audio recording of her saying she sold his vehicle.
Well, you're saying what happened with the car?
My car got towed.
Okay, but why does he have to pay for your car? I'm trying to understand what you're...
No, I mean, because of the simple fact that if I wouldn't have been in jail, I would have been out to be able to fix whatever was on my car from sitting on the side of the road.
And so he has to pay for the value of your car because your car ended up getting towed? Because you got a bunch of tickets?
For him putting me in that position of...
But she wasn't in jail. Why didn't she move your car?
Okay, I was actually driving the car.
Did it get towed?
Yeah.
Why did it get towed?
Because the radiator blew. And it was sitting on the side of the road. So the sheriff's department, you can't just leave a car on the side of the road.
I meant, couldn't you pay, $60 for a tow to a place where you then park it?
Oh, no. Financially, I was not in a position to pay for the car to get towed.
Did you end up selling the car?
No.
Okay. And according to you, you have an audio of her...
Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would.
Question 2, man. What did you ever do with her car? Did it get towed or did you sell it? What happened?
I sold it. I scrapped it.
You scrapped that? Oh, well, I don't know.
You need to hear anything else as far as the car?
Yeah, she scrapped it. What does that mean?
The car's actually still sitting there. They're holding the car until we're able to pay to get it out.
Okay, so why are you saying that you scrapped it?
Well, the car got towed.
That's not the same as scrapping it. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Wow. So here's where the problem lies, okay? He may very well have made this up and cost you some money. But I have a bad vibe because he seems so angry in here that I think you're right. There's a dynamic still. I also happen to think there's a dynamic from you too. I think there's, forgive me for saying it, but there's some women who kind of like the tension. It makes them feel special. I don't know whether you pulled a gun out him or not. The problem that you have is that there was a prosecutor involved here. This isn't him suing you civilly and making it all up and he can just pull, he's a puppeteer who can pull everything. There is a prosecutor who looked at it and believed him, and the government actually put their money behind a prosecution because they believed him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for you to prove that he made the whole thing up, which is what you have the burden of proving while you're in here, okay? So, and what's your pain and suffering lawsuit against him? What's that about? Because you're just as guilty of trying to up the ante.
I've been through quite a bit with this kid. It's been a long 7 months dealing with this. I've lost time at work.
Can I make a suggestion? What you need to do is the transfer of this child needs to occur in a third-party location or through a third party. But everybody here needs to avoid contact between the two of these folks. Everybody here is just itching to be a news item. Everybody. How old's this child?
He's 3.
Nobody cares about the child. Everybody cares about showing that they're the big old macho. Cut it out. And you figure out a way to respect him, have civil discourse with him, but not cross the lines that kind of I have the feeling you're crossing, okay? Just figure it out, what your intents are, and make sure that there is a third party or third location transfer for the child. The key is in your hands first and then your hands second. Verdict for the defendant on your lawsuit against him. Verdict for the plaintiff on your lawsuit against him.
So it's a wash. All right, so step on in the hallway here. Come on up here. What's your reaction to what the judge just had to say to you, both?
Well, you know, everything happens for a reason. I believe justice was served, and
She gave you the first responsibility to lower the temperature in this whole situation.
She did.
What are you going to do about it?
Everything she said was absolutely right. I mean, I have been going and doing the right thing.
You don't
about
love
whole
the drama here?
situation. I actually don't. It may seem like I do, but I really don't. So,
Because there's a responsibility on your part to bring peace,
Right.
you know, here between all these parties,
Right.
so something worse doesn't happen.
right, you're absolutely right.
You're going to take that responsibility seriously?
I am, yes.
All right, around the corner this way. Officer McIntosh, please. All right, so step on in here and tell me what's going through your mind here now this is over.
Well, nothing much. I'm just glad to have it over. It's been a long 7 months. I've been running down with this kid about him pointing a gun at me, so I'm just ready to be through with it. It's over.
Are you madder at him
I'm not mad.
or at her?
I'm actually disappointed in the legal system. You know what I'm saying? At the fact that this kid can get away with something like that and still, you know, attempt to sue me.
Well, now you're in the situation that you're in. It goes on between you and the mother of your son. You got to get along. You willing to lower this temperature?
We get along
Be
just
careful.
fine. We get along just fine. Like today, everything is fabricated. But when it comes to me and her, we cool.
All right, good luck. Good luck. Right this way. Harvey?
Okay, well, my only advice is that when two parents don't get along, it's a bad idea for either of those parents to have their significant others around when the other parent shows up.